Hey, Jess. Oh, faithful Jessica. Just tell me how I sound. Do I sound good? Do I sound okay? Am I loud enough? Good evening, good evening. Let me see, can I get us in here? I think I'm in. Okay, as you come in, please like and share. We have a dynamic conversation on tonight. Hey B, how are you? I hope that you've had an amazing day today. We are in the lab, we are in the room, we are at the conversation. As you come in, if you can just like and share, and we will get started here shortly. As you come in, please say hey to your girl. I hope that you've had an amazing day. Blessings, Pastor Derek, one of my greatest supporters. Husbands are the best. Husbands are the best. I'm telling you, tonight is an amazing. Y'all, the Shia segments that I have been doing have been completely blowing my mind. I'm telling you, I told y'all this pulled me way out of my element. And you may say, well, you go live all the time, but it's different. It's different when you're going live talking about, certain things. But let me tell you, it has been really blessing my life and blowing my mind. Blessings, Pastor Prophetess Renee Cannon. It has really been blowing my mind, just the testimonies from the lives. People going back and watching the replay. People asking every week, were you in my prayer closet? Sometimes you don't know why you're doing stuff or why you moving in a certain direction. And God always sends confirmation, I'm telling you, hey, Dr. Booker, y'all, my sister just got her green light. Yes, life-changing. Her green light to for her doctorate degree, and we are so thankful. And you know what, Satin, I'm telling you, you are all in my conversation on tonight. It's going to be good. Listen, y'all, 9 o'clock, I might have to boost this thing up to like 8 o'clock because, girl be like, I be sleepy around 9 o'clock. We still got to, hey, Auntie, hey, Pastor. I'll be about ready to go to bed at 9 o'clock. But listen, I'm going to jump right into this thing. I was at lunch today, and I really tried to focus on what I'm going to talk about right after, my She Up Lives. So, on Tuesday, I'm like, Lord, what do you want to say for next week? I start early, we're parents. I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a 9 to 5. I'm a pastor. I have all of these hats that I wear. So I was trying to be proactive. Well, today I was at lunch. I went to visit the senior center, one of the senior citizen centers in Clinton County today, and I decided to have lunch there. And while I was sitting there eating my Piccadilly, they have Piccadilly that comes in and out and caters food there. And she said 8 p.m. was great. I know, girl, I'll be under the covers too. As soon as I get done with the live, I'll be trying to fly upstairs. Anyway, so I was sitting in my car and I heard one word, preparation. And I said, okay, now I've been hearing different words, throughout the week because I got to minister in a few places. I got to minister on Sunday at my own church. So I'm like, God, is this for that? Is this for this? He said, no, I want you to talk about preparation. And I want you to talk about tonight the value of the invitation. A lot of us are invited to the party, but do we really value the invitation? A lot of us are invited to platforms, but do we really value the invitation? I sat there and I just pondered. I said, God, there are things in my life that I forfeited because I didn't value the invitation. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. I'm telling you, this blessed my entire life. There were doors that opened for me, entrepreneur-wise, that I sabotaged because I didn't value the invitation. God opened up a door for me. And my cousin is here with me tonight, and she said, we were just searching on YouTube. We're working on some other projects. And she pulled up, she said, is this your fashion show? Is this your fashion show? It wasn't my fashion show, but it was when I was invited to Small Business Fashion Week. I was invited to the platform. But what did I do while I was on the platform? Let me give you another one. I was invited to a major door, Belk. Belk, I was making clothes. Belk found out I was making clothes. They invited me to come to North Carolina. My husband came out. We drove out to North Carolina to present my line to some executives on the Belk platform. And I got there. Hey, sister, I got there on this major platform. I even had a vision that this was going to be the door that was going to change the trajectory of my life. But guess what, y'all? I got to the door and I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared. I was working with old ideas. I was working with what I'm going to talk about tonight, an old oil. I was working with a borrowed oil. I was working with something that worked a long time ago. But when I got to this door, I couldn't walk into the, matter of fact, I walked into the door, but what I had and what I contained and my capacity at that moment could not keep me on that platform. You know why? Because I didn't value the invitation. I didn't value that God was bringing me into a place that would change my entire life. I didn't value it because I didn't find nobody that was doing what I was doing to find out how to strategically place my looks, how to strategically make my clothes, how to have a defined line. I was working with old ideas because it works at Bishop T.D. Jakes Megafest. That was a big platform, but it wasn't bigger than Belts. I was working with the ideas that I had at Small Business Fashion Week, but it wasn't good enough for the door that God had brought me to. I was working with an old oil. I was working with a borrowed oil. I didn't value the door that God brought me to. And a lot of us are stagnant in areas. A lot of us cannot see manifestation of God's promises in our lives because when we got to the door of opportunity, we tried to use the same oil that worked 2 weeks ago. We tried to use the same oil that worked months ago. That stuff ain't working in this season. So I forfeited that door because I didn't understand continuity. I didn't understand fluidity. I didn't understand that my looks had to paint a picture. I didn't value the invitation. And so God began to speak to me while I was sitting in this senior citizen parking lot. I was surrounded by people that had ideas and never worked at it. I was surrounded by people that had dreams and never worked at it. Never prepared. As a matter of fact, one thing about preparation, it is essential for success for any endeavor. And most times we find ourselves deficient in this area because we get tired in the process. The process is called preparation. And when we prepare, it strengthens our belief that success is not only probable, but it's also possible. Preparation visualizes your desired results by eliminating distractions and focusing your mind. I couldn't walk into the door that God gave me because I didn't have a focus in front of me. Let me tell you tonight, preparation has no substitute. In other words, you can't go around it. You can't negate the process. You can't dissolve the process. You can't, and let me tell you something else. When I was sitting in the car today, I was eating my turnip greens. I love turnip greens. I was eating my turnip greens from Piccadilly, and I took my cornbread and mushed it up in there. And God told me, he said, look up in the sky. There was a plane flying over my car. There was a plane flying over the building. And God said, adequate ground preparation is crucial to successful operation in the air. You got what I'm saying? Let me say that again. God said to me, when I was sitting there eating my Piccadilly, he said, adequate ground preparation is critical to successful operation in the air. In other words, if you don't want to fail in the air, you got to prepare well on the ground. I know, that thing there tore me up. He said, if you don't want to fail, and we talked about this, was it last week before last, the fear of failure? I started this conversation all 6 weeks ago, y'all. I was talking about getting rid of sentimental value, getting rid of things that no longer had value, things that had expired shelf life, get rid of all that stuff. And God told me today, I'm bringing it all together, because if you don't want to fail in the air, if you don't want to fail in doing the things that I called you to, you got to prepare right here. What's the song we used to say? This is the dressing up room down here. What is it? I gotta go to heaven from, you can't go to heaven if you, whatever it say, from down here. This is the dressing up room. You got to prepare down here before you fly high. They can't fly the Boeing 57. They can't fly Delta. They can't fly Spirit until preparation is made on the ground. And some of us are relying on last season's oil. This oil is not sufficient for the next level. There is a new level that requires a new oil. The songs I saw 3 weeks ago at my church, it might have tore the church up then, but I can't sing those songs now because God ain't requiring that. He's requiring more of me. I'll be transparent. All last week, I have been going through some things in my mind. Actually, for the past 2 weeks, I've been dealing with some little bitty issues. You know what I'm saying? So I got to church on Sunday morning. All week I've been saying, God, what you want to sing? Now listen to this. God, what you want to sing? Not me preparing my mind and my spirit. How do you prepare your mind and your spirit? You get in your word. You pray. You fast. And when you see your flesh fighting against what God wants to release in the earth, then you bring consecration and fasting and affliction to your flesh. Okay, well, I didn't do that. So I got up Sunday morning and I said, Lord, what do you want to sing today? He said, well, you didn't want to hear from me because you didn't prepare for me. Some of us are looking for results. But we still working with the same sermon we preached last month, because it told the church up there. God is saying, I'm requiring a new oil out of your life. That's why I allowed things in your life to turn up topsy-turvy. That's why I turned up the fire in your life, because I am requiring a new oil for this season. That's why I didn't allow it to work. That's why I couldn't work. So it can push you into my face. So it can push you at my feet. Because I am trying to produce a new oil out of you. You cannot rely on borrowed oil. The next season in your life, you cannot rely on borrowed oil. You got to rely on the things that are required from you. And that's the 3 P's tonight. Prayer, planning, and preparation. Prayer, planning, and preparation. Yeah. Prayer, planning. God got me good. He got me good. He said, look at that plane in the air. He said, there's no way that plane can fly successfully without preparation being done on the ground. A lot of us have gotten words that God is going to catapult us to the next level. He's taking my ministry to the next level. I'm going to blow up in the mountain of business and government and all of these mountains of influence. But unless you prepare on the backside of the mountain, we're going to get all the way to that point and be an epic failure. We got to prepare on the ground level. Ground level. And listen, I can't talk to you about preparation without giving you what God said in his word. God took me to Matthew, the 25th chapter, verses 1 through 13. I'm going to skip around a little bit, but y'all hang tight with me, because I'm telling you, I got a revelation out of this. This is the parable of the 10 virgins. We talk about this. We hear about this parable in the Bible. And one of the things that they bring out is the return of Jesus. And we must be ready. But let me tell you something. Not only do we got to be ready for his return, we got to prepare, we got to pray, and we got to plan for where God is taking us. Verse 25 says, then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. Here we go. We got 10 virgins. They all had the same thing. They all had lamps. They all was dressed. And they all had directions to meet the bridegroom. That's just the first verse. Okay, in the second verse, 5 of them were foolish and 5 of them were wise. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them. But the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. Verse 5, and the bridegroom was delayed. They all became drowsy and slept. Let me stop right there. Sometimes when we think God is not coming when we want him to, when we want him to, the scripture tells that we know not the coming of the Lord. We don't know the day. We don't know the time. We don't know the hour. We just got to be ready. We got to be prepared. So they became drowsy and slept. Verse 6, but at midnight there was a cry. Here is the bridegroom. Come out to meet him. Verse 7, then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. But the foolish said to the wise, give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out. But the wise said, since there would be not enough for us and for you to go somewhere and buy you some oil for yourself. Listen, I'm going to put a pause right there. In this season, I only have enough oil for me. In this season, I only have enough oil for me. I can't help you while I'm trying to help me. All right? I'm telling you, I just got enough oil for me. I done prayed you through. I done fed your family. We done paid your bills. We done helped you through the midnight. We done hung with you. We done rocked with you. But in this season, I only got enough oil for myself. I can't fight your battles and mine. If I had to preach tonight, my message would be, get your own oil. Y'all put that in the chat. Get your own oil. Get your own oil. Get your own oil. Get your own oil. We came to the table. We was dressed for the wedding. We came with lamps. We came with oil. We get down to time for showtime, and you ain't got no oil. I don't have no oil for you. No, I ain't got no oil for you. So verse 10 say, and while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him. We're talking about preparation tonight. And on top of that, we're talking about preparation and valuing the invitation, okay? Those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast. And you got to take your time and go read all of this so that you can understand the full picture of what was going on. And the door was shut. Afterward, the other virgins also came saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. But he said, truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Now this parable is a strong reminder of the importance of readiness, of being prepared at all times, like I said, for the second coming of Jesus. In a way, the parable is a lesson about the value of being prepared when it comes to the future. The wise bridesmaids get to go to the party because they were prepared. They have the needed oil. The others had a plan, but they didn't have enough oil. So they said, let's go buy some oil, and they missed their opportunity. When you don't prepare, when you don't have what you need to have, the door closes. You may or may not have another opportunity. And back to my story I was telling you about Belk. I got to the door and I wasn't ready to walk in. They completely dismissed the program. So it wasn't like, God, I repent. I'm sorry. Sometimes you won't be able to get back. Sometimes you won't be able to have that opportunity again. Sometimes you won't have another chance to do what you were supposed to do right the first time. Although these bridesmaids were chosen to accompany the bride and the groom, their role as bridesmaids, listen at this, their roles as bridesmaids did not guarantee them a place at the banquet. What guaranteed them a place at the banquet was being prepared and being in the place where you're supposed to be, on time, at the right time. A lot of times we miss our moment because we waiting until we get there to prepare. You wonder why people ain't calling? You wonder why you ain't going here? You wonder why the door ain't open here? Because we ain't ready. I am an accountant by profession. That's what I do. And before we enter a new year, we have to forecast. And my job is to generate an analysis of how much money was spent in this fiscal year and how much money will be spent in the new and upcoming fiscal year to provide a proposed budget on how much it would take to sustain the government county-wise or the school system. I do this without knowing what's on the horizon. I know I'm going somewhere, y'all. I do this without knowing what's about to happen. I do this forecast without knowing if we're going to go into a recession or if we're going into another pandemic. I create a forecast without knowing how negative things will affect my projections. But I have a plan for just in case it happens. I have a plan for natural disaster. I have a plan where we can put our money on some millions of dollars just in case something happens. But what I've noticed in the natural is that people who truly love what they are called to do make the necessary adjustments, even in their personal lives, to achieve good results. If I want to succeed in the marketplace, if I want to succeed in ministry, I forecast, I forecast as if something is going to hit. I don't get at the door and say, well, let me get prepared when we get there. That's what happened when the pandemic came. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew how to pivot. When I'm preparing a forecast for the marketplace or ministry or the government, I don't plan for unseen hiccups or issues. I prepare for them. I don't expect them to happen, but just in case, I have to prepare to keep people paid. I have to prepare to keep the lights on. In other words, we don't plan the future. Much of what happens is beyond our control, but what we do is prepare to deal with it when it rolls in. What do we do with the invitation? Do we value it? God has called us to a place to forecast, to put ducks in a row, to plan things out, to pray it out, to walk it out, to fast it out, to consecrate it out. What are we doing with our preparation? Are we just expecting the promise to fall out the sky? One point I got 2 points tonight, and then I'm going to let you go in 8 minutes. Point number 1, the 5 wise virgins valued the invitation. Their value was demonstrated in what they did. Not only did they bring their lamps, they brought their oil. Not only did they bring their lamps, they brought their oil. What will you do when you're invited to the table? Are you just going to go because things worked when you were invited last time? You got to bring your A game. You got to bring your A. Let me tell you, when that thing for belt flopped, I said, God, I would never miss a moment again. I would never miss a moment again. When that door closed with that job that I wanted, I said, Lord, I would never miss a door again. Not only is preparation key, but it's important how I value the invitation. It's important how I value that somebody would allow me to come to this place. I didn't just miss a moment. I got to the door. I got to the door of the biggest thing in my life. Listen, y'all, I've had some major things happen for me. I got to the door of the very thing that could have changed the trajectory of my life. And it was amazing because it was like God was just setting up the stage. He was setting up the stage. I was invited to Bishop T.D. Jakes. I mean, they put me in the back of the conference. They put me in the very back. Like, you couldn't even see me at no exits. At no exits. God bless you, Mom. You couldn't see me at no exits, B. They had me in the very back of the convention center. That thing was huge. But Bishop Joanne was there. Bishop Willie White was there. Kiki was there. People were there that could vouch for this. My booth, it was running over. I still got pictures. I got pictures. That's right, Pastor Derek. You cannot mismanage the moment. I got pictures. I had a little 10 by 10, and it was packed. And they were like, what you selling? I'm selling neckties, bow ties, and lapel pins. Thousands of dollars. God was setting up the stage. I had maxi skirts. Had never sold nothing in my life. Ain't went to nobody textile school. I just had an anointing. I had some anointed hands. I had some anointed oil. And I had a word from God that he was going to anoint my gift. And I started making those skirts. I sold out. I would go back to the hotel and I would make some more skirts. I found Joann's, bought some more fabric, and came back. I came back home with over 200 orders. God was setting up the stage. Went to a fashion show, Small Business Fashion Week. Performed there. God was setting up the stage. Now, it was time that I get to Beth, one of the biggest moments of my life. And I mismanaged the moment because I didn't prepare. I thought I was prepared, but I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. I didn't value the invitation. Ain't no need us living in regret. We repent, we change our mind about it. God, if you allow me to go through it again, then I'm going to get up and you ain't like to tell me because I'm going to make sure. We can't mismanage the moment. I didn't just miss the moment. I got to the door and that thing slammed shut in my face. And some of us are trying to get God and all of heaven to move on our behalf, but we don't value the call. We don't value being chosen. We don't value the mandate on our lives, and we don't value the responsibility. And last week, I talked to us. We had the conversation. We came in the room, and I said, it is our responsibility for our growth. I'm so sick of this church. I feel like my time is up here. What are you doing to develop yourself? What are you doing to grow? What are you doing to go to the next level? Did you buy any books? Are you looking at any videos to enhance your gift? I tell the prophets in my church, I tell those that I mentor, that your gift is not going to be strong except you exercise it. Your preaching gift ain't going to get, your preaching ability ain't going to get stronger until you exercise it. Riding a bike, you ain't going to get good at it until you exercise it. It got to get muscles. And the Bible declares that many are called, but few are chosen. Why is it that only a few of the many are chosen? Because only a few will discipline their lives enough to be chosen. Only a few will value the cost of the next level. And only a few will value the invitation. How do you value the call on your life? Are you doing the necessary things in your life to go to the next level? Are you doing the necessary things in your life to go to the next dimension? You're an intercessor. You're a prayer warrior, but you don't pray. You're an encourager, but you don't encourage nobody. You're a singer, but you don't sing. What are you doing to value the invitation that God has given us? What are you doing to value the call on your life? I'm telling you, God had me at lunchtime. I'm telling you, I couldn't even hardly grip my cornbread good. Because it was, what are you doing to value the call that's on your life? What are you doing? The last point, and I'm going to let you go. Values are demonstrated by our behaviors. Have you ever seen someone that don't value nothing? Yes, I have. My son, Benjamin. I don't care how much money I spend on shoes. He going to walk on the back of them. Since when the ASICs started costing $200, $250? And, I told him, I said, now, I'm not buying another shoe. If I see you walking on the back of them shoes, I'm coming for your chest. That's what I told him. That's what I told him. He's about to be 14 now. He ready for them fists. So I told him, I said, Benjamin, I said, if I catch you walking on the back of these shoes, I'm going to snatch them off your feet and I'm going to make you wear them church shoes to school. I told him, I promised him. I said, you're going to wear them shoes. They're going to know you shout. They're going to call you Shouting Benjamin. He don't value nothing. Have you ever met anybody that you walk in a house? God done bless them with a nice house and it's nasty. Stuff everywhere. Bless them with a nice car and the front seat from the ruler to the tutor. Just trash everywhere. They don't value what they have. My husband said, true story. It is. You gonna wear them church shoes. Let me see you walking on the back of them $200 shoes. You know, values are demonstrated by our behaviors. You ain't just started being nasty. It's part of your values. You ain't just started not bathing. It's part of your values. You ain't just started to be hard to work with. It's part of your values. What do our behaviors, habits, and patterns say about our values? When there is no value, there is no preparation. There is no preparation. When there is no value, there is no preparation. And the wise virgins, they value the invitation so much that they adjusted their behavior accordingly to be ready. And we got to be just like them. Because I value what God is doing in my life. I value where God is taking me. I am going to prepare until my time comes. Not, I'm going to wait till I get to the door. I'm not going to miss another moment. I'm not going to miss another opportunity. I'm not going to miss another open door. I'm not. Some of us are so busy. We're so busy trying to prepare for Thanksgiving. I'm already there. I sure am. I'm ready for dressing, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. I'm ready for all of that. I'm ready for all of it. We busy preparing. And in my mind, in my phone, I already got my Thanksgiving list ready. But what would it look like if we cleaned up our lives? Because Jesus was coming with the same urgency that we use to clean our houses together so that little JoJo can come over. So little JoJo can come play. Or a longtime friend can come over and see how good God been to us. If we take that same energy to clean up our lives and prepare for what God has called us to. We can't be getting ready when the promise show up. We got to be ready as an already done. We can't be getting ready when the opportunities show up, y'all. We got to be ready as it's already done. We have to value the invitation. Y'all type that in the chat because I'm about to get off of here. We got to value the invitation. And if I get another chance, I got to preach Sunday. I can't preach this, but I'm going to preach this. We got to value the invitation. Many of us ride on it's my turn, it's my season. No, it ain't. Not if you don't have the capacity or the space for it. You can claim that all day, all week, all night, all year, all decade. If you don't have the capacity for it, if you don't have the space for it, God, I'm ready for whatever you're saying. God is saying, no, you're not. You can't even get to church on time. You can't even, matter of fact, forget the church part. You can't even get to your job on time. You late every day. You got to value the invitation. These people that hired you to work at their job and you showing up late every single day. And then when you come, you ain't prepared. Your hair all over your head. Your clothes look like you ain't put an iron to it. You ain't ready for next level. You ain't ready for management. You got to value the invitation. You will never walk on major platforms if you don't value the invitation. If you're not ready, if you're not prepared. I've been called for greater. But the value is how well you handle the process. Value the invitation. God says, show me that you're really ready for next level. Show me that you're really ready for next dimension. Show me that you have the capacity to hold what I'm trying to do in your life. Show me that you have the capacity to hold what I'm trying to put on you. Show me you have the capacity to handle the weight that I'm trying to put on your shoulders. Everybody wants the glory, but they don't want the story. They don't want the trials. They don't want the tribulations. They don't want the process. But you got to value the invitation. And it starts with preparing. In every area of your life, you got to prepare. You do. I'm telling you. This one, tonight, y'all, this conversation blessed my life. It blessed my life. If we're going to ever be anything in God, if we're going to ever be anything in the marketplace, if we're going to be anything in whatever mountain of influence that you are called to, you gotta prepare. You gotta prepare. And some of us been back on the backside of the mountain for years. We still back there preparing. We still back there trying to get ready. God he can't snatch the covers off our lives. He can't shine no bright light on us because we won't do what it takes to prepare. We want to make $300,000. We want to make 6 figures. But are you preparing for it? Are you preparing for it? I got some people now that's in my that I manage. And one girl, she just flat out told me, she said, I deserve to make at least 6 figures. I said, no, you don't. You can't even come to work on time. You can't come to work on time. And then, on top of you can't come to work on time, you want to take some extra lunch. You want to take some extra lunch and you deserve 6 figures? No, you need to be an example. You need to be an example because people are looking at you. Value the invitation. I'm going to be first partaker. Value the invitation. Well, God bless you. Listen, I will be here next week. Hopefully we can talk about what I have prepared, but maybe not. We don't know. All right. God bless you. Thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. See you next week for She Up Conversations. God bless.